Hello and welcome back to the Rewrite Your Story podcast. It has been a while. Sorry about that, but I am back and I am so excited to be here. Today's episode, I will just give you guys more of an insight into where I've been, why I disappeared for a bit, and what is coming in the next few episodes, what you're going to expect this podcast to look like going forward. Let's dive into it. Hello and welcome to the Rewrite Your Story podcast. If you are someone who is looking to take power back into your life and be in control of your destiny, then this is for you. This podcast was created to empower others by sharing the tools that have truly transformed my life. So sit back, relax, and let's start rewriting your story today. So hello and welcome to any of the new listeners. Thank you for joining in and welcome back to anybody else who has been waiting on the sidelines for me to come back. So let's start off with where I have been. So I know one of the last episodes that I had with you guys, I talked about burnout and taking time for yourself and just slowing down. Well, I did the opposite. I was pursuing my passions by doing this podcast and doing some coaching, and I panicked. I really started to panic. My imposter syndrome came in. Yep, that's right. I know I talk about imposter syndrome, I think in episode 4, and this is episode 12. So I know I'm not the best person here either. I talk about all these things, but I still fuck up too, like I still mess up. I just let stuff get to my head. I panicked. I really panicked about money and income. And I'm just like, Amy, what are you doing? So I ended up getting a full-time job, which was good, especially during a pandemic. It was great to get a job in my field. And it was actually a job that I've always aspired to be. It was a HR business partner position. And for anybody in the HR space, it's right up there. It's like one of the top positions in the field. So it was really good to get, and especially at such a well-established company. It just felt like a really huge milestone for me, and I was really excited about it. But on the flip side, it consumed my life. I'd be working 60 plus hour weeks and I had no life. It made me high stress. I really burnt out. I had no time to pursue my passions. For anybody that follows my personal social media pages, you'd see that I sing and I post videos quite a lot. And I was doing none of that, not a single thing. So, and along with the job being really time consuming, I did love it. I had a lot of passion for the people, but there were a few ethical issues there. And long story short, I no longer work in that organization. But just given the tumultuous experience of that role, I just really needed to take some time for myself and just really assess what I'm going to do professionally. I've spent my whole career, the majority of my life, performing and in front of a camera. And then I went into the HR space and was, coaching, doing development training and doing recruitment and HR. And I really love the people aspect, but I'm not someone who deals with corporate bullshit. That is not me. That's the kind of girl you're looking for. Not me at all. And you kind of think, when you get a bit older, high school's in the past, but hell no. Some people, especially in some large organizations, they don't do things the right way, and they would rather you just shut up and you're, monkey say, monkey do type attitude. And I'm not. I've always been one to speak out for the underdogs. If something isn't ethical, if people aren't doing things the right way, I've always spoke up. And, where I was working, they also wanted to silence that. So I had to really assess what I wanted to do next. Do I really want to stay in the corporate world, or do I want to pursue my passions and go into business for myself and believe in me? And I was dealing with, as I say, a lot of the imposter syndrome and just really trying to figure out what I'm going to do and what makes me happy. And I just took a bit of time to myself to figure that out. And you know what? I'm going to do me. Yep. It's scary as fuck, but I'm going to pursue my own passions and my career. I have enjoyed working in the corporate world, and it really is a good fit for a lot of people out there. But for me, I excelled in the corporate world because I was competitive. I thrived on success. I just had this alter ego in the corporate space, that is referenced as Julie. Sorry to anybody else out there called Julie. But I just would have tunnel vision and just get shit done, and I love it. But the stuff that has always put me off a corporate setting is the corporate bullshit. Like I'm not that person. I don't sit and take no for an answer, and I don't like getting bossed around. And maybe that comes from my trauma. Anybody who's listened to my old episodes, you know what I've been through. And there's definitely a point in my life where I've just kind of stood up to that and like no one's telling me what to do anymore. This is my life. This game that we call life is my game, and I'm going to win it, and I'm going to live this best life for me. So I've decided to take the riskier option and go into business for myself. Now, what does that look like? So I know, as I've been chatting here, I'll give you guys a bit of an insight into my HR background, and I have helped so many people outside of my career with regards to immigrating to new countries, getting jobs, getting set up. It's an area that I really excel in, and I'm really passionate about coaching people on how to do interviews, on their roles as well, and finding out what career best suits them. It's an area that I genuinely have a gift at, and I really love working in that space. So that's an area I'm really delving into. So professional and corporate coaching, something that's really dear to my heart, and I'm excited to jump into it on my own, especially after having, about 7 years experience in that industry now. It's good to do it my way and be my own boss. But on top of that, I am combining my corporate coaching with personal coaching. So I'm looking to go into corporate and professional and personal coaching for individuals or companies who would like it. And from the personal side, I am delving into a pretty heavy life coaching certification. It's actually starting this month, and I am so excited to dive into it. It's the first time I really took a big delve into something like this for me, and I'm really, really excited. Don't get me wrong, it's terrifying, but hey, the things in life that are worth doing, if they were easy, everybody would do them. So if you're not terrified, maybe not the right thing. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to pursue that. I know a few of you have reached out to me, during the course of even my last podcast series, or well, same series, but my last episodes before I disappeared. A few of you had reached out to me to ask, do I do coaching, or do I have any like more personal groups? And that will all be coming in the next few months. I'll be doing a practicum element to my course where I have to do a lot of coaching. So there's going to be group courses available and one-on-one sessions available. And I'm still going to be here in a capacity where you guys would have reached out and asked for advice after listening to episodes. I'm still going to be here contactable for you, but there is going to be a little bit more that I have to offer. So I'm really, really excited and cannot wait to bring you guys on this journey. And I guess for some of you that may be tuning in on YouTube, you will see slightly different surroundings compared to my last videos. And I have moved. I have kind of reshaped everything since I last, was on here chatting to you guys. Not only have I changed things up professionally, but even personally, taken a huge step in my personal life, and just moved in with the most amazing man. Moved in with my boyfriend. Really, really excited. Instead of us moving into either of each other's apartments, we decided to get a new place in downtown Vancouver. So you're currently in my office at the moment, and then we do have an apartment downstairs. So we have the longest commute to work, just a couple of floors. Oh, and it's really, really good. I'm really liking this new space. For anybody who's tuning on YouTube, you can kind of see that the office needs a bit of work. We've just moved in. Okay, give me some time. The girl needs a bit of time. It's been a hectic couple months. Okay. But yeah, this is going to be my designated space for my work and my recording and content and everything. So yeah, it's nice to have that separate space, and I'm really excited to bring you guys on to this new chapter in my life, and give you guys even better advice, even better coaching with your own life, You know, that's been the whole point of this podcast, was to share the tools that I have learned with you guys to help you guys take control back in your life. You know, I am so thankful for the listeners who have reached out and started making leaps and changes. But I just want to remind you guys that everything you have done isn't because of me. You have had the power in you this whole time to make these changes, to do these things. I've just reminded you it's there. I've just reminded you how to access it. But you're the one who's been making these leaps and changes. And I'm so freaking proud of you guys who've been messaging me to say that you've been going to therapy now, that you've started to ask for help, that you're starting to speak about your story. And it's huge. It really is huge. And the more that you do it, the more other people will see those changes and ask these questions. Especially this past year, mental health has just skyrocketed, and it will continue to do so. So it is so important to have these kinds of conversations and share this information on a regular basis, to make it normalized, to make it part of everyday conversation. So thank you guys for choosing you, and also choosing to share this with other people. You are literally changing the world. Like, think about that for a second. Like, this has a ripple effect bigger than what you can ever imagine. So thank you so much. Now, the info, what's coming next. So the podcast is still going to cover the same kinds of topics that it has been. We'll be delving into some more mental health topics, and I'll give you guys a bit more insights into things in my life as well. But I know a lot of you guys have really liked the interviews that I've been having with getting past, therapists on, people who some entrepreneurs on, and you've really, really liked having that insight. Now, I know even with those, we were just kind of talking about topics in general. And so I'm starting a new series. It's still going to be on this channel, so you won't miss anything. But I'm really going to be focusing on a bunch of entrepreneurs coming forward. Now, how's that relevant to the podcast content? I'm sure some of you are wondering. And to me, it's hugely relevant. I have been talking to you guys about how you can rewrite your story using these tools because it's worked for me. Now, so many of you, it's so easy to listen to me and go, yeah, it may work for you, but you're one person. So what I wanted to do was bring on people who are not only your everyday people, but people who are successful, and not only successful, but successful in their own businesses. They have stripped away the typical professional norms and pursued their own career. And they have went through the shit, like so much, whether it's outside influences, whether it's stuff that's happened personally, loss, so many incredible stories, and nothing has stopped these people from pursuing their passions. Like, can you believe that? Like, you think of a lot of entrepreneurs or people who start their own businesses. I know from people that I've been talking to recently, a lot of people have thought, they start their own business because mommy and daddy paid for it. They start their own business because they inherited a business. They're money and sales people. They don't care. That's really not the case. I guess it's the case for some scenarios, but for these incredible people that I have coming on in the next few weeks, they are the opposite of that. These are people who have just wanted to win at this game we call life, who have seen the opportunities of their passions and decided to pursue that instead. And none of them have had an easy ride along the way. Some were told they weren't good enough. Some had really bad self-doubt because of past trauma and, money stories, so many different things. And, I realize not a lot of you guys listening can relate so much to my story because you've not been there. And that's why I wanted to bring on people with different stories that you might be able to relate to. And even maybe not you, but you might know someone who's going through the same struggle and is giving up on themselves. So many of you guys have said to me that you want to pursue things and pursue your passions. You just don't know where to begin, or you start, but then you give up on yourself. You don't have time. There's excuses. Things get in the way. And I really want to get these entrepreneurs on to share their story and to also share some tips and tricks into why they didn't give up, how they kept pushing forward, and how they made this a success. They say that people, if you want to be successful or you want to work in a specific industry, the people you look up to should be a few steps ahead of you. People that you always aspire to be more, and you want to surround yourself with people that are doing what you want to do. And these people that I have on are definitely a good few steps ahead of me. Some are in completely different industries, but I definitely look up to and respect each and every one of them. And some, without even knowing, have hugely impacted my life and have really started to put radical change into my life and put things into perspective for me just from watching them grow in their business. So I have had these people impact me, so I wanted to share them with you. So yeah, I'll be getting some people on, male and female, all different industries. I'll be posting a few things on my Instagram page. So for those that don't follow, it's rewriteyourstory.ca. And it's really where you guys can get a chance to be interactive. This podcast isn't just for me, but it's also for you. And I want to give you guys the content you want to listen to. So I'll be putting up some polls, some interactive questions for you guys to get involved with regards to industries you want to hear from. Would you resonate more with males or females? People from different countries where you guys are, and we can get more people on. My network is quite large, and I do have a lot of just extremely influential people from all different walks of life. So I cannot wait to share their stories with you. And I just want to say before I let you go, thank you so much for coming back and listening with me and going along this journey. And I am so incredibly excited for what this year has to come. So a belated Happy New Year and welcome back, everybody. Tune in next week. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Rewrite Your Story podcast. It would truly mean the world to me if you could subscribe and leave a review on whatever streaming platform you listen to this on. Leave a written review, a 5-star review. It truly helps to get this into the ears of those who really need to hear it. If you're not already a member of the Rewrite Your Story community, you can find us at rewriteyourstory.ca on Facebook, Instagram, and our website. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week. Bye.